26th day in the month of February 2024 it is. Welcome everyone. Good morning. 8 a.m. today. I am Sunday Kolawole, of course. Today we'll be starting with a check on stories making headlines in the national dailies, and we'll start this day with this day newspaper. And let's see the leading story there. It's talking about economic reforms. Tinubu begins broad consultations, sets up tripartite advisory committee, meets private sector leaders, governors. The story is on page 5 of the This Day newspaper. And talking about the economic hardship that Nigerians are currently confronting, we find this story on the front page of This Day newspaper. Nationwide protest. Falana writes FG, says NLC not in contempt of court, insists Nigerians don't require permit. The outcomes as WTO MC13 begins today in UAE. 6 equitable rules to enhance food security. Others. That story, it's on the front page, spilling to pages 26 and 29 of the This Day newspaper. You also find the claims that has been put out that Nigeria is reaping the benefits of reform. You find the statistics there from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, talking about the output of the reforms by the Tinubu administration. Just check details there right on the front page of This Day newspaper. Now let's see another paper this morning. Of course, it's the turn of the Daily Independent newspaper. So on the front page of the Daily Independent newspaper, you find issues having to still do with the economy, and the leading story there: no going back on hardship protests tomorrow, says NLC. Alleges FG perfecting plans to disrupt peaceful process, puts international organizations on notice. You find that detail on the front page, of course, spilling to the inner pages of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Not leaving Daily Independent newspaper yet, and still talking economy. Page of the Daily Independent too. Okay, some stories from the inner pages of the Daily Independent newspaper. On page 7, you find this story: Serap sues governors, Wike over missing 40 trillion. So the Daily Times newspaper also has some stories for us. The leading story there is also talking about protest on economic hardship. Protest. NLC adamant as FG, Afenifere, Ohaneze, others differ. That's on page 4 of the Daily Times newspaper of this morning. CBN fixes duty charges to Form M amidst calls for 1,000 naira per dollar rate. That's what you find on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper. Tinubu meets Dangote Elumelu monthly. Wow, what a huge loss on a monthly basis. It's on page 5 of the agrees to host investment forum. That's on page 5 of the Daily Times newspaper of this morning. Of course, the social media came abused somehow, and then you found a particular leaked letter talking about the refusal of Qatar to host an investment forum during the visit of President Bola Tinubu to the country. Of course, in the letter you find explanations why the forum would not be hosted. But what this story is telling us is that that's a reversal of the stance of Qatar on the matter. Find details on page 5 of the Daily Times newspaper. And page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper has this. Naira closes week at 1,665 naira 50 kobo per dollar amidst demand prayer. That's on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. Let's shift our gaze to yet another daily. It's this time sunny. That's a Daily Sun newspaper. Let's see stories little depart there, and you find this story on Monday 6 2024, Daily Sun newspaper. NAS considers conduct of all elections same day. Mulls radical changes to electoral laws to address confusion over electronic voting. You find the stories on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper of this morning. Page 6 has those stories. Now, Peter Obi warns against clampdown on BDC operators. That's on page 2. BDC, then the prohibition. That's on page 2. NLC alleges plot by government to disrupt nationwide protests. Afenifere asks Yoruba to shun it. That's on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper of this morning. You also find this story. Tinubu rallies Dangote, Elumelu, others to stabilize the economy. Sets up tripartite economic advisory committee. President of Argentina, Atiku tells President. Pages 25 and 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. On page 27, you find yet another story talking about the judiciary. Supreme Court gets full complement of 21 justices. Well, congratulations, you say. Serap sues 36 governors, others over alleged failure to account 40 trillion naira local government allocations. That's on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper of this morning. Of course, interesting times to say. And then on page 28, Lagos plans additional 2,050 BRT buses to ease transportation. Interesting and commendable, you would say. Find details there on page 28. Now let's backpedal to page 20. I beg your pardon, page 6. Page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper will build on huge infrastructural legacy of ex-Governor Bello. That's according to panel. As NG members talk Kogi projects. Alright, details of this and many more you find in the Daily Sun. Present charges, IPOB leader Kano returns to Abuja Court. Check details of those stories and many others in the Daily Sun newspaper of this morning. I told you it's a daily today, so Daily Trust is next. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, you also find these stories. Qatar backtracks hosts Nigeria Business Forum. You find that on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And on page 6, Nigerians, northern senators welcome ECOWAS lifting of sanctions. Okay, that's talking about the ECOWAS sanction on those countries. Now on page 6, hardship, NLC mobilizes for protest despite FG's warning. That's on page 6. And on page 4, Gaza truce talks resume in Doha. That's where you find it there. And you find pictures here of Nigerians going to buy rice from the Nigerian customs. Then some residents of Lagos trooping to the Nigerian Customs Service sales point for the rice palliative, which are being sold for 10,000 naira each. That's for 25 kg bag. Sad story emanated from there. It was reported that a member of the All Progressives Congress APC and 6 others died in the process of getting those rice, and that's due to stampede at the place. We just hope that government would look at some other methods and measures out of the current quagmire that it's finding itself economically. Find details of all of these stories and many others in the Daily Trust newspaper of this morning. Let's go the sporting way and check some sports stories from the Sporting Sun newspaper of this morning. On the front page of the Sporting Sun, let's check this. Chelsea willing to pay £250,000 weekly. That's coming from Chelsea there. You find the story on page 6. And you also find some more stories here. Real Madrid eyes £45 million Alfonso Davies Swoop. You find the story there. Then doping, IPC slams 3-year ban on Nigerian Olympic champion. That's on page 7. Mbappe decided to join Real Madrid in December. Then these and many others you find in the Sporting Sun newspaper of this morning. Of course, that does it with a check of stories making headlines in the national dailies today. Now the question you would find many people asking would be, all of these challenges Nigeria is facing, are they man-made or are they actually spiritual problems? Do we need to consult the gods or the God, whichever one you want to call it? That will be the point of conversation when we return from this short break. Please stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. up, everyone? It's still AM today on this channel. Of course, many interrogations have been on to know whether or not the challenges bedeviling the Nigerian state, whether they are man-made or they require some divine intervention for solutions to come. Let's first start these interrogations further this morning. I'm being joined by Dr. Idowa Law. He's a cleric, and then we'll look at all these issues together. I thank you so much for joining me on AM today.
God bless you.
Amen. Now, let's start the ball rolling. Are we being bewitched? Or we are our own problems? What exactly is going on?
Thank you for that question. It's a beautiful question. Nigeria, we are not bewitched. The problem we are facing in Nigeria is more of man-made problem than that of spiritual.
So we don't need to fast, we don't need to go to the mountains, we don't need to keep praying.
Prayer is one part. While human effort is other part. You see, one thing with God is this: we cannot keep on praying while we leave what we ought to do undone. And that's what with God. As faithful as He is, God will never do anything He knows you can do by yourself. So when we put up our own effort, then we pray to God, and God will count the effort. That's just it.
Our problem is man-made, and not more of man-made. That's your assertion on the matter. Yes. So then, let's take it one by each. How did security challenges become man-made to Nigeria?
All right, thank you. God bless you. You see, when we talk of security, I said it's man-made problem to Nigeria. Right away from the Bible. Bible is self-recorded that we should be one togetherness. That is, that they all may be one. Then it said we should love our neighbor as ourselves. Then when it comes to the issue of security now, you see, when we are lazy, then you leave what you ought to do undone. Then it leads to other things to think otherwise. What are we going to do? And you want to get money by all means. You want to get power by all means. This is where the issue of security. And then when I say it's man-made, that God said, "Thou shalt not kill." And the Bible condemned, stated in the Bible, said, "Thief will not come, except he's willing to win and want to kill." And then, it is man-made to think. Okay, what I mean, you are going to another man's farm, another man's house to steal. You will not go there for him. It is man-made problem now that will make you to sit down. Okay, let me go and get a weapon. Let me go and get dangerous weapons to go and attack. You cannot go and take something that does not belong to you from another man's without you get yourself prepared very well for battle. That one is not spiritual. It's man-made. God will never direct you to go and do that. And prayer will never direct you to go and do that. No religion will approve that for you, except your own wicked man heart.
So how do we juxtapose the provisions of 2 Chronicles 7:14? If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray. So how do you juxtapose that with the problems that we have on our hands as a people? You have said that it's man-made. Then if it is man-made, we must find a man-made solution to it. Those voted into power must have to do what they ought to do. Those who are civil servants must have to work and do what they have to do, shun corruption and all of that. So how do we juxtapose the provision of 2 Chronicles 7:14 with the current situation of the Nigerian state?
As you have just rightly said, 2 Chronicles prove that if my people that are called by my name will humble themselves, then give some conditions. Then when they humble themselves, they change from their wicked heart. They turn over a new leaf. They obey the voice of God. It is then that they are qualified to call upon Him. Then, if you now call upon him, then he said, then I will open my ear. If God will not be able to close the ear, he will not say I will open. But he now said, if they humble themselves, if they call upon my name, it is by then that God will listen to us. But when we don't humble ourselves, when we don't change from our wicked heart, and we just say we are praying always, God will not even listen to us. Not to talk of giving us answer. So the first thing we do is to return back to God. Like I've said now, people voted in now. When they were sworn in, they said they made a lot of promises. But immediately they assumed the office, now they forget about the premises. Then the fear of the Lord is no longer in their heart. You cannot tell me such thing that is happening in Nigeria now is inevitable in such a country. Because they have removed fear of God from their thinking. Now they thought they got to that place with their power and they can do and undo. So they don't have second thought. They don't reason that, okay, this place where I am now is just for a while. Then they don't reason well that some came here before me and they have left. And two, I am here today, tomorrow another person will be here. So that is the interpretation of that Second Chronicles 7:14. Said he gave them conditions before calling upon his name. But we neglected the conditions attached.
These people you're talking about, whether you're a councillor, a local government chairman, a commissioner, governor, even the president, belong to one denomination or the other, whether in Christendom or in Islam or the traditional religion way. Yet, we find all of these problems on our hands. These people who have been accused of corruption, these people who have been accused of ineptitude, and some other problems that have culminated into the quantum of the issues we have on our hands now. They belong to one religious sect or the other. Isn't that a point of the failure of religious leaders in teaching the truth courageously to these people in power, other than giving them the front seat at their churches and our place of worship?
Thank you. Yes, I know that everybody belongs to a religion, either Christian, Muslim, or ATR, that we call it a traditional religion. What I'm saying is this: no religious leader would teach his follower to corrupt, but it depends on the ear of the person in question. Look at even Jesus Christ when he was on earth here. You know, he had many disciples. He practicalized in their presence. They saw what he was doing. They were there when he fed the thousands of people with 2 leaders. He was with Jesus, even the closest disciple there, as a treasurer. Yet he lost his life because all that Jesus Christ was teaching them then what just came upon his own heart is how to convert the body money, stealing. And that is why he lost the grace given to him. So also, no religious leader on here today would teach the follower to corrupt. None of them would teach them to be
directly or indirectly?
Indirectly. To be...
No, I teach directly the godly virtues and stand by it. How many people are really courageously standing up and saying, look, if you cannot account for this money, you cannot bring it to my church. You cannot bring it to my mosque. You cannot bring it to my shrine.
Yes, you know, there are people who still stand firm on their feet. Like myself that I'm standing before you now, I was in church one day. A lady came to me, then handed over an envelope to me. Said, this is my tithe. You know, when she first handed the envelope, I thought it was prayer request. When I opened it, and this is a lady who has not been gainfully employed. A week before that time, I called her to my office. I said, how are you earning your living? I was the one that gave her money to feed herself. So just a week after or thereafter, she brought an envelope containing 30,000 and told me that was her tithe. I said,
maybe your prayer was answered.
But my prayer was answered. That your tithe? I said, how manage? How do you got this? Have you gotten a job? He said, no. He said, it was the man that was going out with that gave her the money. Oh, and I said, oh, my sister, you made a mistake. I'm not taking this kind of tithe from you. Because you said, a man that you are working with, that man is married already. And you are single. And you have never engaged in marriage. Then which kind of working are you working with the man? And said, please, if you want to enjoy the grace of God and if you want God to answer your prayer the way I pray for you, you must take this money now. Add it with the balance in your hand. I thank God now, current as I'm talking to you, yes, the lady did discuss exactly and returned the money. I said, go and return the money to the answer. Because this money got your hand in a sinful manner. And your tax cannot be accepted unto God. So there are many occasions like that. People are watching me now.
So then how do
they
are
watching me now? Some have brought car to me and I rejected it. But if you cannot explain, and when I know I will question you, how do you get this to be for I accept it from me? There are still leaders like that.
a car?
Yes, there are still leaders like that. There are many. It's only we cannot do without having such other people. You know, God himself said when he created everything on earth, he said it was sad because of man, not even because of me, not because of mosquito, because it's man that really polluted the heart of God.
So beyond the pulpit, what other roles should religious leaders play in bringing sanity or preferring solution to the problems on the hands of the leaders of this country?
Yes. What happened is this, sir. I believe religious leaders, the real religious leaders, they are trying their own efforts. There is nothing we will do than to teach them, than to advise them, than to talk to them, than to instruct them and teach them the way of the Lord and what God demands from man. But it now depends on them listening to what we are saying. And there are some too, sir. There are some too, sir, who are still in position today who are not corrupt. It's not every one of them that are corrupt. We still have few of them too who have the fear of the Lord in their hearts. I know of them like that. They said, even as we are talking now, I have many members who are Nigeria police force, but they will prefer to be posted into the office than to be posted into the road where they are going to take a bribe. They will tell you, I don't take it. The police now will not take bribe from you. And there are some that will demand, even if I don't give it to them. So we have the different differences. Now, so therefore, it's the same teacher. That it is the same teacher that taught the one that came out with first class. It's the same teacher that taught the one that came out with
Now, finding a solution to this issue, what should be the disposition of Nigerians in general towards making sure we get out of this jodom of despondency we find ourselves as a people?
The first thing that we need to do first is to agree that we are not here on earth permanently. That we will not be here forever. So the first thing is to inculcate the idea of fear of God in our heart. Then the love of our neighbor. Okay, let me say, for example, sir, you are voted in a power, or you are placed in an office. Now, what I was saying, the corruption issue that we're talking about is even in the public service, not even the political arena. Okay, can you just imagine? Look at the property. Some lower civil servant who is opportune to be posted in a place where there is money. Look at what they are having in the town. Look at what they are achieving. Then can you tell me, can they account for it? Is it accountable? And when if it's accountable, then compare what they have with their salary. You agree with that corruption is not on the political realm alone. It's even the public service. It's even at home. It's in the marriage. You know, it's in marriage, whereby a husband will give money to the wife to go and buy food items and at home that they are going to eat together with their children. And yet, the wife will still deduct out of the money, contribution and others. Is that not corruption, sir? The corruption starts from our own home. So if we correct it in Nigeria, we have to go back to our individual house. We have to correct from our own house. I correct my own house. You correct your own house. It's not even the hand of the radio alone. But it is from the inside our house that we will go back and check it. If you look at your children. If you give money to your child, go and buy this for me. Yes, as when she go there, eventually she get this. If they return this change back to you, or you kept it off, that is corruption. So let's go and correct ourselves from the family level. So if we correct ourselves from family level, that will go to church. Then the cleric will add their own together with from cleric to society, from society to local government to the state, and from the state to the nationwide. You agree with me that the government starts from home. It starts from home. And whatever action you see anybody playing there started from his own house. And if we correct it from our home, that is the only solution, sir. At least these people that we're talking about, they came from one house now. They came from one house. So let the correction start from our house. Or if we correct ourselves from house, from our own family, from our nuclear family, not even extended now, from our own nuclear family, if that correction is made from that place, then let me tell you something, the society will enjoy it.
The Tinubu administration says it's bringing up certain reforms to reawaken the economy that's almost in a comatose already. What's your assessment of these reforms?
If the reform of this palliative measure,
yes, all of these reforms that the Tinubu administration says it's bringing on board, palliatives here and there, the capital market, the road churn, and all of those.
All these things, all these systems we are talking about, it's not even the problem. But people placed in that offices are the problem that we have. Okay, look for palliative now. We'll talk of palliative. Palliative is just a word derived from medical dictionary. It serves as a drug or medical treatment just to relieve from severe pain of a sickness, but that does not cure the cause of that disease. It's an action of relief from severe pain, but that has not been total. It will not solve the problem, because this is what I'm saying now. Palliative is not even the solution, but let's look for what is the cause of this problem, and let us amend the cause. Let us adjust the cause. Then from there, you look at the Bible. There was a river in the Bible that the Bible recorded that it was Peter. You know, many prophets got there. They would just bless the water from the halfway, and they drank the water was sweetened. When they left, the water will swim forth again from the source, and the water will still be bitter again. But when it came to the level of Elisha and Elijah got there when Elijah was alive, and he knew what Elijah did, because they just found temporary measure that they are thirsty, they want to taste water. They just bless the water and they taste and go. But from the source, the bitter will come again. But when it came to the son of Elijah, he now went to the source. And the Bible recorded that the water was hid even up to today. So let us go back to the source of our problem, which is righteousness. Unrighteousness. And you know, the Bible says righteousness exalts the nation. But when we are just looking for a way of solving the problem, leaving the source of the problem, we will still remain in that problem. We will still remain in that problem, sir. So, you look at it now. All principles, all policies that work for other nations successfully, if they apply the same policy in Nigeria, it will not work. Because the policy itself will not do anything. But people who will implement the policy, they are the problem we are having. It's not the policy now. It's not the type of the government we run that is problem. So it's the people that are running the government that is problem. I remember when I was in secondary school, at least in my secondary school, we have about 6 or more teachers who are white. And they're not going to be very hard to teach. People came from Ghana, Brazil, also so they come and teach in Nigeria then. But look at it today now. Then now, if you know something happened in the beginning of life of Nigeria, when the destiny of Nigeria has not been changed. You know, $1 in Naira then was equivalent to $180.
What changed the destiny of Nigeria?
It's we human being now. It's we human being because of our righteousness and covetousness. That will change what the destiny. That is what changed the destiny of Nigeria. And the moment the destiny of a place is changed, you cannot expect anything good to happen.
Are you optimistic that this trend can change?
Of course, with God, nothing is impossible.
So it's therefore a God matter, not action matter?
Yes, I said with God, nothing is impossible. Then what I'm saying, this can change. I'm still praying. Even now, like this today now when I was in prayer, I said, let us start prophesying to Nigeria now. Normally when I want to talk before, I would say, if they are selling so right, that will get money. But now I said, let God attend to this. God can touch the heart of everybody. If we continue, but the problem we have that we Nigerians, we are just praying. We don't put our faith in God. Starting from election, how many of us really depend on prayer when we want to vote? Then if we really depend on God when we want to vote, then we will not take money. We will not sell our conscience for 500 naira, 1,000 naira, or 3,000 naira.
Dr. I'm really tempted not to go this route, but then I do not have a choice. I think I should say this succinctly. Prophesying to Nigeria will not solve Nigeria's problem. I don't know if you agree with me. You are prophesying to Nigeria, you are not farming, you are not producing anything, you are not exporting anything, you are importing everything. You find everyone having this craze of foreign things. Will prophecy solve these problems?
Now, listen to what I'm saying. You know, in my was the other time I told you, prayer without action will not work.
Okay then.
Prayer, you know, one Yoruba musician, sometimes said, walk while you walk, pray while you pray, play while you pray, to be useful and happy. This is the way. Every developed country has to develop through hard work, research, then obeying the rule of law, and so on and so forth. So what I'm saying, when we prophesy, these people that are governing us, then we will continue to pray to the Lord and touch their heart. Let your fear grip their heart, and let them have change of mind. Prayer will not do that one for us. So it is when God touch your heart down that you will not, you know that doing things that will not favor other people is a sin. But you see people that are here now, that they don't even bother. They don't consider any other person than themselves. Selfishness will no longer be done. So that is what I'm saying, that God should touch the heart of these people. That God himself can do that without any delay. He can do that. But prayer will never solve the problem alone if we fail to take action.
Dr. Duwala, thank you so much for that last submission. I had to ask because of certain concerns in very many areas that the biggest investment of the Nigerian people, even within and outside the country, is setting up churches, setting up religious centers. You find other countries coming to invest in Nigeria. How many Nigerians are investing outside the shores of this land? That's why I was asking you if prayer and prophecies will be the solution. Thank you so much for coming on the AM today.
Thank you.
He's a cleric and he's been talking about the way forward to Nigeria's problems so that we can find solution to all the challenges we devil in the country. We will take a break now. When we return, we'll go into politics. And then please, do stay with us, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Still there and today on this channel, now talking politics, especially taking a closer look at Edo State primaries and internal polity of political parties. I'll be joined by Barrister at Law and Felix Alonye. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I want to give you another name this week. All right, let's take a closer look at what's going on in Edo State. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) held its primaries, and then you find that Ighodalo becoming the candidate of the party. Then Shaibu also emerging as a factional candidate. You also find the All Progressives Congress (APC) conducting primaries, and then 3 people are laying claims to the ticket of the party, saying I'm the candidate. That other one also laying the same claim, and the third person too. In fact, the APC had to be forced to conduct a fresh primaries in Edo State. Isn't all of these things are they not point us to the fact that there are no political parties per se in Nigeria, according to some commentators, and there are only political platforms in Nigeria? I understand and remember very well that you have also had that same opinion right on this seat.
Exactly.
What exactly is the problem of the Nigerian polity?
Thank you. In a democratic setting, party politics is different for the recruitment of credible leadership for the purpose of the governance. And as you have actually alluded to in previous comments, that as far as Nigeria's type of democracy is concerned, in the real sense, we don't have what we call political party in Nigeria. Because in the Western democracy, when you talk in terms of political party, we must have the doctrine of the political party, the ideology of the party, the focus of the party, so that it is always very easy in developed democracies, by virtue of your profession, by virtue of your trade, and by the virtue of the economic status, people will be able to predict accurately this is going to be your political alignment. But as far as Africa is concerned, particularly in Nigeria, we don't have what is called real political party. We have just mere political platforms. So okay, which party is popular in an area in which I can easily win election? And that has been the bane of APC and PDP, and even the so-called Labour Party now. That, oh, this party is popular in the area. And at the end of the day, you discover that most members, even the political graduates, also don't want to contest. They don't even know the philosophy behind those parties. They don't even know the program of the party, but they know just this party is popular. Because for a real political party to governance support, there must be a driving force, there must be a spirit behind that particular party. So this is the focus of this party. Let me work towards that focus for the realization of the objective of that particular party, the goal of the party, and at the same time translate the objective and the goal of the party to the benefit of the people. That is the problem we are in Nigeria. And that is why that one has actually translated to the process of selecting or electing or nominating candidates for all the various political parties in Nigeria. That has created a serious problem.
Let's use Edo State as a microcosm of this conversation.
Yeah.
And let's start with the All Progressives Congress (APC) primaries.
Yes.
Former governor of Edo State, Dick Lambast, former governor of Edo State and current center for the Edo Central Adams Osrc, of trying to disrupt the process instead of providing level playground as a leader of the party in good form and shape, as far as Edo State is concerned.
Thank you. What has actually happened in Edo affected the 3 major political parties: the APC, the PDP, and even the Labour Party itself. And just because the process of selecting what is called the party primary is not actually being properly organized.
Because, you know, when you talk in terms of primary, is election within a political party for the purpose of selecting candidate for the general election. That is the meaning of a party primary. That is election, that the fundamentals that are required before the primary could be conducted are not there. Do we have authentic register of party members from the ward level to the local government level to the state level to the national level that is handy for any candidate, for any member of the party to make reference to at any point in time? I can say in the affirmative that I don't know whether it actually exists. If you have authentic register of members, either election to be selected through direct primary or indirect primary or through delegates, the register will show the actual numbers of people that are going, that are in that particular in the political party, maybe at the world level, where the direct primary will be conducted, at the local government where the direct primary will be conducted, or through indirect, so that they will know that, oh, these are the party members. You could not even see the stream of people now defection from one party to another, PDP coming to APC, APC coming to PDP. At the end of the day, you are saying that, oh, they are going to be party primaries. Who are the authentic party members that will participate in that particular party primaries? And also the problem of government, they don't even have access to who and who will participate in the party primaries. And it's not only in the APC, in the PDP, even in Labour Party. Even in Labour Party, they are still complaining about the nomination of Olumide Akpata as the candidate of the Labour Party. And just because the position of the governor as far as the Nigerian constitution is concerned is too rosy. They are more or less, sorry, maybe saying this, maybe they are famous. It appears as if they are next to God as far as the party given to them in the Nigerian constitution. And because they can make and omit, if you're a governor of a state in the world, regardless of the enormity of the authority and the position of American president. And that is why the aspirants, they always see it as a do or die affair. And now recruiting, I'm a member of APC. And compared to what the result, regardless of what APC have done that is not, so maybe are not being normal, is that PDP is not even the alternative. As far as, though PDP is in government in Edo State, but the way the primary was also conducted was worse off than that of the APC. And that is why the deputy governor, Shaibu, is an easy ride.
My question remains, what makes the APC primaries better than the PDP's primaries? Because of the fact that you find the APC primary getting cancelled eventually, a fresh one being ordered, and no matter what it is about the PDP, it did not cancel its own and then conducting another. So when you are saying that that of the APC is better than that of the PDP, I'd like to know where your view is coming from.
Well, I'm saying that I'm not saying that the way the primary for the APC and PDP that one is better than that. That's what I'm saying.
So you did say that the PDP's primary is worse off, in your words.
Yeah, in the sense that it was a conspiracy of one man against Philip Shaibu, not to get to the position of the governor.
So that of the APC is a conspiracy.
You know, what actually happens is that one is not as serious. They don't believe that as far as Edo State is concerned, that Oshomode wanted his own person.
Isn't that a conspiracy of someone too?
But at the end of the day, the voice of the people had the day.
If it's not as serious, why was the exercise cancelled and another one conducted?
And that is because APC discovered that at the national level, this is going to be a serious problem. It is better for us to go back to the drawing board. But even in that particular cancellation, APC must engage in persuasion. Dennis Idahosa must be appealed to, because if you go ahead to take legal action against the party, it is going to be in trouble. Because all the processes that are laid down by the APC were more or less followed by the committee of Hope in the governor of Imo State,
Uzodimma,
was followed. And that is why the party must find a way of appealing to the Hausa that, oh, this is family affair, please, our brother, we have opportunity. Fortunately, he's a very young guy, and God's plan is right. There are still a lot of better days ahead for him. And that is why he's threatening the party, because he believes that the law will be on his side.
Between you and me, isn't the APC in for a big trouble as far as this election is concerned?
And that is why court is already declared that as far as primary is concerned, it's a family affair. But in the process of being a family affair, you must also operate within the confinement of the law. Otherwise, the opposition will have delay. Opposition will have delay.
So some are also of the view that the house of the APC is not in order. The house of the PDP is not in order.
Yeah.
So the chaos.
Labour Party cannot benefit. It's just Labour Party is a party of the body of that movement has disappeared. And what is also against is being wrong.
Nigerians are disappointed.
Yeah, because within the party level, a lot of controversies are brewing within the party, the corruption, embezzlement of party funds, this and that. If they could do this thing at the party level, is Nigeria going to be in trouble?
What is the business of Nigerians with the internal affairs of the Labour Party? As much as the business of Nigerians with the way and manner the economy is currently being run by an APC-led administration, have you looked at that too?
Just certain pace before we get to the level of prosperity.
Enduring policies that Nigerians have to endure certain pains.
That is all the developed nations. They made sacrifices.
Are there pointers to the fact that these sacrifices will yield results that will make those sacrifices to be worth it eventually?
Yeah, exactly.
What are the pointers?
Let me tell you, it is just because Nigerians, we are not patient enough, and at the same time, we don't look at where we are coming from. So that you have voted for a particular person, a particular party, for a tenure of first time of 4 years. And this just 9 months down the line. Let's see, in the next 2 years, what will be the result before we now say, oh, let us maybe condemn. It is good to criticize, but our criticisms must be positive criticisms within the limit of the law, not destructive criticisms. And when trying to criticize, we must give options that will serve as alternative for the president to look at, for the party to look at. You know, the former vice president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, he was making reference to Argentina, forgetting that the political paradigm, the political configuration, and the sociology, the geography, and everything as far as Argentina is concerned, it's not the same thing as far as Nigeria is concerned. Because there are a lot of fault lines that we have in Nigeria, fault lines of regionalism, fault lines of elitism, fault lines of religiosity. All those sentiments are there. People are looking at, oh, this and that. And I was listening to one coming from the radio. After they made a comment that, oh, Yoruba leaders and Yoruba people should be a little bit, they should give Tinubu a little time. That, but unfortunately, believe that, oh, that Tinubu is going to do well. But coming from another person from some Yoruba land, he was saying that more or less this man is trying to be sentimental. That is Nigeria for you. And if you listen to what our guy said yesterday, Fayose, the former governor of Ekiti State, that we need to be patient. He even said something about which, as a Christian, I don't want to even say, that even if you bring angel or this and that, that Nigerians were extremely difficult people, that it's not easy to govern Nigeria. And as a matter of fact, it's not easy. The problems that President Tinubu inherited, that's why the fact that took over from a leader of the same party. But we should know that Tinubu is not Buhari.
When will Nigeria actually graduate from this buck passing and blame game? Once there is perceived inefficiency or ineptitude anywhere, you find that it's the problem inherited. The Buhari administration talked about the 16 years of misrule, according to them, quote unquote, of the PDP. Now, the Tinubu administration is also going to talk about 8 years of misrule by Buhari administration. What do we talk about?
Two things: process of political recruitment. The moment we don't get it right,
was the process of recruiting
is still faulty. It's still very, very faulty. The right people are not allowed to go into political leadership as far as Nigeria is concerned.
Are you saying Tinubu is not the right person to be the president of Nigeria?
And he went into practical aspect of governance. As a senator, as a governor, and at the end of the day, become the number one citizen of this nation. He has actually prepared himself